Welcome to another wonderful episode of Write and Shine, Shining Through Your Words author series, proudly brought to you by Write and Shine Media House. My name is Magriet, and I'm absolutely delighted to introduce authors from around the globe, bringing their gifts to this wonderful, wonderful platform and to the world ultimately. We are almost ending this incredible series, so I'm very, very delighted to introduce you to Catrin. Please will you introduce yourself and also tell us a little bit more about your book?
Yeah, thank you, Margaret, and thank you for everybody watching. I'm really honored to be here at your show. My name is Catrin, surname is Jacksties, so I'm born in Germany, as you possibly can hear from my accent. I consider myself a world traveler and a human of the world because I lived in various countries. I traveled a lot, and now I'm living since almost 30 years in New Zealand. And the reason why I came here is part of the story in the book. I wanted to get as far away as possible from my childhood, from my father, from my home, and never ever expected that I would take everything that I experienced with me. However, also arrived in a country that allowed me to dive into this journey of self-discovery and changed my perspective of life, and with that, my life completely around.
That is incredible. I did some research and it's absolutely fascinating, the healing modality also that you're teaching. Please share a little bit more. I read something about the 2 point. I'm very fascinated about this, and it's something you say you can teach people how to do.
Yes, I one of this is not my saying, but one of the sayings of big teachers is always, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and vice versa. So during my journey, one of my phrases since I'm 5 years old is always, there must be something else. And I was constantly looking for that something else because I could not believe that the life I experienced was what this life on earth is all about. I tried many different modalities, and somehow in New Zealand came across this method. And it's not my method. I just adjusted it a bit. It's very old. It comes from Hawaii. So it's over 2,000 years old and has been used in Hawaii mainly on the physical body to release physical pain.
Wow.
And then a couple of chiropractors, one in America and one in Germany, rediscovered this method, where one of the teacher that taught me comes from Switzerland, and he was just here for a certain period of time, and I, through no coincidences, met him, was fascinated by what he said, experienced one session, and had the most incredible release and journey after that. And then I thought, I really need to learn this. And it's so simple and it's so easy. It changed everything for me. And since then, I shared it with everybody who wants to learn it too. So it's not complicated at all. You have to understand that the biggest block in applying and learning it is yourself,
Yes.
because it's so easy, and your mind will initially tell you this can't be, this is too easy and too good to be true. But once you practice and have just one extraordinary moment, you will not stop using it. And I wouldn't necessarily call it just a healing modality. For me, I like to call it transformation. So that's how I have adjusted this, because it works on the quantum field. And when your consciousness is expanding, and it does expand automatically through this work, you see things differently, things that were always there, but you couldn't see it because of your beliefs, because of your upbringing, because of your culture and your experiences. And suddenly somebody takes a curtain away, and another one and another one. And yes, this is a healing journey, but it's also a journey of expansion. And that part I absolutely love about this work.
That is incredible. And Catrin, your book's name, please share with us, as well as how can people find it if they're looking for it.
I have been asked to be in a collaboration of 11 other authors, and the book is called A Journey of Riches, The Power of Self-Discovery. And they can find it via Amazon. I have, because I traveled the last 6 months around Canada, have not managed to put it on my website yet, but as soon as I settle down again here, I will do. But they definitely, if they look for the title, A Journey of Riches, The Power of Self-Discovery, there are 11 other authors, and all stories are amazing and worthwhile reading because everybody has a different awakening, so to speak.
Yes, that is absolutely brilliant. And who is basically your ideal reader? Who would you say should buy this book?
Yeah, this is a complex question. How should I say it easy? When I started, let's start from this. When you are, whatever you are sending out, and with this I mean frequencies, vibrations, beliefs, energies, that's exactly what you attract. Since I have been abused in many different forms in my childhood, I have attracted, even in my work later on, lots of women who had abuse happening in their life in emotional, physical, or sexual form. For those ones, I can definitely say I recommend this book because this was once I found this journey, I discovered that life is a gift again. And nothing happens to us, even though it sounds harsh, nothing happens to us that we can't handle. My belief also is when you are the person in your family, genetically, in your family line, that is supposed to break a cycle of abuse, then that's the person who has to read the book, or can read the book, not has to, can. And that person then, once you start this work on yourself, you are releasing everything for future generations, for your children. This was my biggest motivation, but also going back for your ancestors. So I now have the understanding we are all here going through life, and some of us have been here more often. And I don't really want to call it life purpose, but I do know some of us are here exactly at this time to break the cycle of violence or abuse, of corruption, misunderstanding, all the stuff that is keeping the world and us small. And if you feel compelled in that, if any of these words resonate, then you are the right person to read it. There are so many other stories in there. So I also believe everybody who really is interested in working on themselves, and I can't emphasize enough, I believe this is the most important work any of us can do. Because again, what we have inside of us and we are sending out, whether we are aware of it or not, is what we receive back. And if we all are managing to release the cultural, the family, the ancestor blockages or abuses, etc., if we can release all this, the world will be a better place. And I'm strongly believing this is possible because I have seen, not just in myself, but with many other people, and men included, how this work has changed them and how they are interacting with life, with people, with relationships completely different.
I love that so much, Catrin. And for me, I just honor people like yourself, not having what happened to you define you, but to share, to basically also help others going through similar situations. And my question to you is, how did it feel initially to share your journey? Because it can be very daunting and you feel all that shame and stuff initially. So how did sharing your story change you as a person from, where you were to where you're now?
Many women will possibly understand that. And I also must say, I have men in my workshop who experience something similar. Initially, you actually don't talk about it because somehow, if it happens to you when you are a child, you somehow, you think this is normal. Second step is you are ashamed and you think it has something to, you did something wrong. It's not the other person or the circumstances. It's I must have done something wrong. So I didn't share that initially. Later on, after I'm not quite sure that you are aware of this. The one of the other really significant things in my life was that my brother died in my family home when I was 17 and he 18. The family home burned down and he was in it. That was one of my most defining moments in my life. And all I could feel at that time, because I had the thought that my father had something to do with it, was hatred. I still would not talk about what happened to me because that's the next step. I learned a lot about the brain. And if something happens to you as a child and it's really traumatic and it's too hard to confront, your brain will block it out and you will not remember it. It requires work for it to come up again. And then when I finally said something initially to my mother, she wouldn't believe me. So that's the next thing again. um, the reason why I started sharing was honestly because of this work. I have done mostly the work on myself first, and then I saw the difference. And then I was invited to Canada to do a couple of workshops. And I had so many other women where to this day, these days, it's still happening everywhere in the world, but in particular, Ireland, Canada, Germany, where nobody talks about these things. And I saw it made a difference, and I didn't have to feel ashamed, and it wasn't my fault, and I wasn't imagining this. And it has such a profound way to change your life, how you see relationships, how you see men. I hated men most of my younger years, and I thought life is, I have to fight all the time, and had no idea why, because the abuse happened when I was very little. So once I started sharing and realized I'm not the only one, there are so many others, that motivated me to talk more openly about it, because unless we talk about it, not from the victim perspective, and I don't really want to diminish anybody who starts there, yeah, it's absolutely fine, just start talking about it. But I felt I wanted to share in particular how my life was affected, but how I changed it and how things can be different no matter what happened to a person. It doesn't diminish any of the trauma, it doesn't diminish any of the story. But as you said before, I am not defined by my story. We are all so much more. And the more feedback I received, the more I really enjoyed sharing it.
That is incredible. And I just want to say, first of all, I'm so sorry about the loss of your brother and also the trauma surrounding that. That's something, most of us can't even fathom. And, like my son is 18 years old now. So just choke up, about the age. It's such a young age for such an extreme trauma to also happen to you and your brother's loss. But with that, just congratulations on your journey. And, it's such a journey of hope, Catrin, for other people to be inspired. And I do feel there's something magical that happens when your pain becomes your purpose. I do think that's when the victim changed to, survivor and thriver even in their life. So it's absolutely beautiful to see your journey. And how can people reach you? Are you on social media? Do you have a website? I will also share all the links in this section. But please share with us what is your the easiest way to get in touch with you.
Well, the easiest to get in touch is via email. And it is the email address from info@2.1smile.co.nz. But you will find it, because it's a long name, via just Googling my name in YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. And I have my basic workshop on YouTube free for everybody who wants to learn it, because I know it is not my discovery, it's not my method. And I wanted everybody who can't afford to come to workshops or who doesn't like to travel, I wanted everybody to have the experience. And these days we understand it doesn't matter whether you do it online or live, the effects are the same. So my basic workshop is on YouTube. If you Google my name, Catrin Jacksties, in YouTube, and I have lots of other videos on where I share some of my journey and what I'm up to. This is another thing I really want to emphasize. I am a very what's the word? Normal person. I don't want to say average. There's nothing extremely special about me apart from the fact that I would always search for that something else. But everybody, you don't need to be super rich, intelligent, anything special. Everybody can learn this and everybody can do it. And that's why I've wanted this to be free for the ones who are really interested and want to learn about it. And when I do, obviously, workshops either live or I do them sometimes online too, they will be advertised on my website, and the link to that is also in the YouTube channel. So that's how people can reach me.
That is incredible. I will also be checking it out, and you're so welcome to share it with us in the Right to Shine community, because I love that you opened it up for free. As I also recall, it's so expensive, for like where I was a few years ago, broke, and you really want to heal you, but you don't know where to go to or what to do. So thank you for making that available for everyone. And to end off, Catrin, it's a tough time of year for some. What advice and wisdom would you give to our listeners, heading into this, Christmas season? But some really are feeling the sting and the trauma of a tough year. What advice would you give them?
I would like to say, first of all, simplicity is the key. Maybe just really focus on your family or your friends. Your friends can be your family. Avoid all this, avoid to get involved in what you think you have to buy or all the gifts that you have to do. Totally unnecessary kind of stress. Rather think about, what experience can I have with that friend? What can I give from myself? An hour of listening, an hour walking on the beach. That is a gift. Go back to basics in life and look at them and be grateful for. Again, it sounds initially when I heard this being grateful, how am I supposed to be grateful? There's always something every day, no matter what your situation is, where you can feel a little bit of gratitude. Doesn't have to be massive or big, just a little bit. And avoid mainstream media and also avoid really social media. When you understand the algorithm, You look at a post for a little longer, and all of a sudden you see this kind of theme and post again and again. It can give the impression in your brain, oh, this is how the word works, or this is how bad the word is. There are so many beautiful things happening everywhere. Nobody talks about them because they're not selling stories. They're not very attractive. So big kudos to you for sharing and for helping us to not just share our book, but also share the journey and showing people things are possible. And I do honestly believe things are shifting big time. We can't necessarily see it with these eyes that are still with the belief system that we are having right now. This year was tough. I do think next year will be interesting. I don't call it tough anymore. I call it interesting. So
Yes.
avoid getting involved in those stories. Rather, notice what is triggering you. Is there something that really makes you upset? And then ask, what is it that I'm really upset about? And if you have a modality, or if you're interested in looking at the two-pointing, because when you practice a little, all you do then you say, be transformed or be released with a couple of steps, and that's it. And the more you do this, the less you get triggered. And that's the first step. And then after that, you integrate the nature, the beautiful energies, the frequencies, the vibrancies. And this can happen with no money, with no tools. Life is beautiful and it's a gift. And if you get up in the morning and you breathe, that's already something we can be grateful for. This is what my brother taught me. He had to leave this planet far too early. That's what I would like to say. And avoid getting into the commercial part of Christmas. For me, this is not what Christmas is all about. If you manage to spend that evening, that day, that time with somebody you really enjoy and have honest conversations, not the blah, blah, blah.
I love that.
And also not the complaining.
Yes.
It's so easy to do.
Okay.
However, maybe notice yourself when you do it and say, how can I rephrase this? Or is there actually something I would like to contribute to this conversation that is positive and uplifting? So that's something you can do. And I guarantee you, once you do, something shifts within yourself. You're sending out a different vibe. You will receive that vibe in return. And that's when things start to change in your life.
I'm so happy I asked you that question, Catrin. And that's also my wish for everyone, not to get involved in the blah, blah, blah. And I do agree. It's just, to get back to the simple things of life. And I think using December to really tap into your inner self and with that gratitude and simplicity. So thank you so much for joining me. And what a beautiful reminder, of this journey and experience that we're on, and also how to really use what's happened to us as pain, but to use that as our purpose going forward. Thank you so much, Catrin.
I really appreciate that you had me here today. So thank you very much.
It's an honor. Thank you, everyone, for joining Catrin and myself on this journey of not only self-discovery, but also the simplicity of life. And as we enter this incredible festive season, have a moment to celebrate yourself, take a deep breath, and just honor the journey that you're on. And be reminded through Catrin's story that what you go through does not define you, but it is there to teach you and guide you into how you can truly experience life to its fullest. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you again for joining in. Keep on writing and keep on shining.
Thank you so much.
Just watch me shine.